Hello and welcome to another episode of Fellow Students. My name is Mohammed Nafari, and on today's episode we will be discussing how much it costs to become an SRC president. Becoming SRC president in any of the public universities has become a very hot cake. Almost every student or every politically ambitious student wants to become an SRC president. Well, some genuinely want to serve the students' place. Some also want to build their portfolio. On today's discussion, the focus of the conversation is on how much it costs them to become the SRC president or the SRC, to hold an SRC portfolio on the university campus. This is important because every now and then, when there are elections, you see numerous of people sitting or numerous of people contesting to become the next leader of the students' populace, right? So on today's episode, I'm joined with Stephen Awuah-Pobi, who happens to be the Speaker of the General Assembly for the University of Ghana and also the Political Science Student Association President, that is POSA President. Stephen, you are welcome to this.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so basically today what we intend to do is that we are going to delve into how much it costs to become the SRC president at any university campus, right? This is important because we want to know how much it costs them. So for the purposes of consistency or for the purpose of flow, we would break it down into three categories. We would first of all speak on how much it costs them in terms of time, and then we talk about how much it costs them in terms of academic work, and then we talk of how much it costs them in terms of finances, right? So let me ask you this. I know you ran for the post of president. That is a smaller portfolio as compared to the SRC election. How much time do you think it costs an SRC aspirant to fully achieve his dream or vision of becoming the SRC president?
Thank you very much. So I'll commend the Greece Life Leadership Center for this opportunity, and I'll commend them for such a wonderful work that they are doing. So what's time? And I would say that it's all in the book of Proverbs that says that seeth thou a man diligent in his business. And you know, when it comes to this whole leadership and politics, it is the business of God. It is a business that we all must enter into. So scripture is saying that seest thou a man diligent in his business. And that is the time that we are talking about. So for instance, if an aspirant want to go for a position, maybe in level 300 or 200, probably what the aspirant should do is that aspirant should start now, right from level 100. Because for instance, when I was aspiring for POSA president, when I came to University of Ghana, in fact, when I was in senior high school, Kwapmai School, I wanted to become the SRC president of University of Ghana. That was my vision before coming to University of Ghana. And I thought it was just a normal thing that we would go through and become the president that you want to. But when I got here, I realized actually I wasn't the only one who had that vision. And I also saw this whole form of partisan politics in the system and everything. So I started from the scratch, being a course rep. And, you know, I had three things. I said to myself, I'll leave University of Ghana, either becoming my hall president, my department president, or the SRC president. And from level 100, I had a diary where I wrote my policies that I would want to fulfill right from level 100. So that is the time that we are talking about. You can't just emerge in level 300 and decide to contest and think you just get it on a silver platter. No, it's from level 100. So I started as a course rep. From level 100, second semester, I was re-elected. Then level 200, in fact, I did not want to become the course rep again because I felt I've actually achieved something. But I came to class the following week and I was told that there was an election for a course rep position and I was elected again. And I wasn't even there. But I was, yes. So the time, it's all about now. When you get to university, what you do, you have to be able to know what you want and start preparing. And once you are preparing, you have to be diligent. Seest thou a man diligence in his business.
I really like the points that you spoke about preparing. But then you made the points that really struck me. That was, you said, the university political system has become sort of partisan. Well, there's a very hot topic for do to make that. But let's not go there. Let's leave that for another episode of us. So what I want to ask you is that during that time frame that you were the coursework, right? You being diligent in the work that you were doing, I'm guessing that it paid off, right?
Yes.
And I wanted to ask, do you think that it was the time that was too short for you to prepare enough for the bigger position as in the SRS president? Or what really informed your decision to go for the POSA president?
Okay.
Because before you even come, and I see that POSA is doing very, very great.
Oh, yes.
I like your slogan, always ahead or something.
Yeah,
like
always
that.
ahead.
Yes,
Always
I
ahead.
really, really commend you for that.
Thank you
But
very
then,
much. So basically, the time was okay. And you know, what inspired me for contesting for such a position was that because I was open, and you know, on campus, when I became the course rep, my first name, as you mentioned rightly, is Steven. But I told them that I'm the brother of four. So everyone should call me Bra Kofi. And you know, when that happened, people now entered my DM with psychological issue, financial issue, family issue, and many problems. And I felt that, you know, there is leadership, but leadership that does not belong to the people can't function well. And mostly, I feel that policies that come out there are mostly top-down policy approach, which will not necessarily be what the people want, but what those who want to be leaders want the people to enjoy. So when I realized that, I felt that, you know, I can do something about it. And I identified people who had financial issues. Some of my mates had to defer their courses because of just 200 Ghana cedis, 300 Ghana cedis, sometimes 600 Ghana cedis. So I said to myself, when I become the PUSA president, I'm actually going to establish an endowment fund. If I'm unable to do it, I'll make sure that the department does it. And I've gone through the processes, and that is the legacy project that the department wants to do to implement an endowment fund for the department that will benefit undergraduate and graduate students. Also, I saw this kind of academic gap. Now, there are some people who can't understand like what the lecturer is teaching them in class. And you know, when that happens, it's not that that person is not good, but that person needs a helping hand. And we need to solidify our educational committee to be able to do that.
so like encouraging peer-to-peer
Yes.
studies.
And if you study, I don't know whether you have been following POSA activities. When the lecturers went on strike, it was only the association. That was the only association on campus that was running a peer-to-peer discussion from level 100 to level 400.
Yeah, that was commendable because you hear most of my friends and mates saying I'm going for a discussion.
Yes.
And they're like, but you guys, lectures are on
Yes,
strike.
lecturers are on strike, but still the discussion was ongoing. And even as people are preparing for their IEs and exams, there are discussions. And you know, I say to myself, I'm the people's person. I would also go to the class or maybe Zoom or wherever would have the discussion and also take my people through because I know it's not easy. If I did not get it easily, that doesn't mean someone can't get it. Yes. So basically, these are the things that informed me to actually aspire for. And you know, my vision was not POSA, my vision was SRC. But at a point in time, politics has always been, you know, going into a compromise and reaching a consensus. So through that, I moved to the department.
Yeah, sure, sure. I think that's great, and I think they're doing fantastic work for the department as well. What I really want to talk about now is the academic workload that comes, not just contesting for a position, but then contesting for the SRC president. Or there's the trend that I noticed. I noticed that most of my colleagues or people I know who want to become SRC presidents, when we get to level 300, level 200, you stop or you see them less in class. You start seeing them like always on the move, always on the move, and all of that. And I know it greatly impacts their
Yes.
academic life as well, right? So, how much do you think the going for the high position of the SRC would have an impact on your academic performance?
Yes, so in this life, any decision that you take would have both positive and negative impact. And it would, you know, this SRC staffs right from the beginning to when whether you win or lose till you end, it will just track your academics. So at that point, your lecturers your friends around you, and also that is when you'll be able to even identify the people who truly love you on campus. Because as a General Assembly speaker, I can count the number of times I've been to class. Because sometimes you can iron your dress and everything and prepare for class, then you receive a call. You have to do this, you have to do that. And it's a responsibility and you have to do it. And I always say that I thank God that I'm part of these two departments, political science and archaeology. Political science, it's just a matter of calling the lecturer and informing the lecturer that, dog, this is what is happening. And when the lecturer will not even say no. The lecturer will just approve. And archaeology to the same thing. I thank God the UTAC president is our HOD and he understands these political stuffs on campus because he himself had been a political, he has been GRASAC president before. So he understands these things. So it is easy for me personally. But there are some, their lecturers will not even mind them. And at the end, they would have F and co. So if you're an aspirant and you're contesting for a position, the best advice is that get a group of people around you that's academically good. So after you are done with your rounds and after you are done resting, you call these people so that they take you through everything that has been taught in class. Else, before the time would reach for you to contest for the position that you want to, your GPA will not even get there for you to even aspire for such a position.
That's true, that's true. But then I wanted to point out something to you. That when you said, I like the point that you said you're able to speak freely with your lecturers and even inform them about the change in schedule. So you were coming to class and you had a call, and because of that, you can't come for the class. I think that's very important for us all to know, because as students, sometimes we take missing class for granted, right? Someone thinks that, okay, because I have these things to do, there is no need for me to even call the lecturer and then seek for that permission. So the fact that you even mentioned and you're able to acknowledge the fact that you seek permission before you miss this classes is something that I wish every student could take up from here, right? Now, the last question I want to ask, and that would be like summing up the conversation we are having today, is that in terms of finances, roughly how much do you think a normal student, or aside from the political partisan nature of how politics will turn out on campus, right? Do you think anyone and everyone can just contest for a position on campus, especially the SRC position?
Oh, yes.
Taking into consideration the financial capability of the person.
The truth is that now the money that is being poured out during SRC elections and co doesn't mean that person is going to win such an elections. And not to be biased, they just ended the SRC elections between Prince Asumedu and Nanabi. We could see, I was following keenly, and when it got to some time, Asumedu had the current SRC president. He had no money on him, and I could see people donating to him. Someone would be like, "I've taken refreshment for this," and it all begins from the relationship you build with people. So there's this perception that for you to contest for an SRC position, you need a lot of money, but that is not true. To me, I think when you have close maybe 4,000 or 6,000, you can become. But if you study the budget of an SRC president, especially in the University of Ghana, it's close to like 60,000 Ghana cedis. Yes.
That's very
Yes. And it's not only University of Ghana. I've had the privilege to manage people from UEW, UCC, who are contesting for similar positions. And their budgets are huge. I'll be like, hey, how is the politics on your campus? And it keeps on going because people feel that they want to be popular. And by all means, they have to be popular. So they try to do some things, organize group discussions, bring sound systems, play music, like do everything it takes to win position. That is where it attracts the money. But if from level 100, you have a vision of becoming what and who you want to be, you make sure that you are diligent in it. The only thing that you have to now prepare for, I would summarize them in 3. That is God, time, and patience. God, because he's the one who makes kings. Look at the incident that happened in our school between Asumedu and Nanabi. For 8 good months, we had no SRC president. We had acting. But just look at what happened. Because God wanted him to become the king, he became the king. Time. He was very patient because he aspired. In fact, when we all came to level 100, the SS president was even contesting for TESCON secretary and co, and he had to drop because of this whole politics and that thing. But look at, because he was patient, and when he was there, he was also talking to people, organizing group discussions and co, and the people loved him. The sociologists then loved him. That is time.
Yeah, I do sociology.
You do sociology. Yes. They loved him, and that's time here. And the final thing is patience. That no matter what it takes, it would also get to your time. So as you are diligent, you look up to God, and you know that time factor must be considered. Then you have your way through.
Sure. So thank you very much. And this is just to say that we would wish to have Asumedu on the show because his ride up to being the SS president of University of Ghana is one that really, really marvels. I've known Asumedu. I don't know if he knows me, but it's normal. He's the president and everyone is supposed to know him.
Yeah.
But then from the build-up, right from level 100, is when you see Asumedu and then you see what he was doing in level 100.
Yes, we were all selling rice. In fact, Asumedu was selling rice. He had a food business.
Exactly.
And I also had X. I was into X.
Yes, that's true. But because I really, really remember those times, and you could see that this is not someone that wants a position to build a portfolio
Not
or
at all.
to do something, but this is someone that is willing to serve people.
Yes.
And so even when he didn't have the position, he was already in the business of serving the people.
Yes.
And it's something I really, really, really commend about it. And if it can make it possible for us to get Asumedu on the show, we would really, really be grateful. Just so we are able to interrogate how the process was for you. Because I think that his patience, his diligence, and then the time that he was able to wait for is something that every student and even every young person should be able to learn.
That's
Because it was a very long time, but he was still diligent, no pressure, keep the calm. What is meant to happen will happen, and all of that. And there's one thing I really, really commend about him, right? And so, Stephen, Kofi, if there is something you'd want to say to your constituents, and I would like to the poster students, to members of the General Assembly, and even to the university community, what would you have to say to them?
Okay, so what I want to share with my people, actually they are not my constituents, they are my family. Is that from infancy I've actually thought that the greatest tragedy has always been death. But when I was growing up, I realized that it wasn't true. Probably I thought that because of how Ghanaians treat the death. Now this would bring me to a new definition. That would be our greatest tragedy on earth. And that is for you and I to exist, to actually see a generation fail without doing anything about it. Just think about it. So I'll then treat all my family members and my friends that Ghana needs you and the world needs you. Make sure you exist in such a generation and make sure you do everything possible for your generation not to fail. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, be legendary.